Hello, good morning. Welcome to CSC with Michael. Today is November 18th, and let's see what we have on today's newspaper. So we have the follow-up of Kartarpur corridor. That's there in the inside page 2. We'll see that. We have the UAPA. See, we have discussed what UAPA is in the last days. So if you haven't come across UAPA yet, make sure what is UAPA, understand what is preventive detention. Understand what is preventive detention. You can learn it from Lakshmikant about the fundamental rights part, article 20. Then 20, article 20, remember that. ACER study. It's one of the most credible surveys as far as India's school education system is concerned. So it says annual status of education report, ACER. It's by an NGO called Pratham. Right, very credible. You can use their findings in GS answers, even in essay answers, even in what do you call as optional answers. So ACER is the most trustworthy, or rather it's a number, or it's the facts that used to compare educational outcomes in the country. So make sure you are updated with that. Then as we move along, we have the article on transfer as punishment. We have been waiting for this, right? So we had read the article about judicial transfer and the issues surrounding it the last 2 days or 3 days back. So there's a news, so there's an editorial regarding that. See what there is. See, it talks about briefly about collegium system. So if you haven't yet studied what is the collegium system, make sure to do that. You can find that again in Lakshmikant. So Lakshmikant will give you a basic fact. You can also look into how it came into being, and then what are its what is its purpose, issues with collegium system, and how can and way forward. Understand collegium system. So the backdrop is judicial independency, or what you call as independent judiciary. So right, so understand collegium system in detail. It's one of the key areas of Indian judiciary related subjects in Indian polity, right? So going forward, a couple of more articles about sentences about the position of Chief Justice of India as far as transfer is concerned. Again, understand that. Then again, collegium system is being repeated. So I remember collegium is to be constructed. So that comes under the basic information about collegium. So once you read that, this would be a revision. So I'll finish that. Now, as far as Delhi pollution is concerned, it gives you again a baseline of what the reality in Delhi is. So the winter period, what causes the Delhi pollution is given. The issues like stubble burning, then you have Diwali celebration, the issue of industry, road, transport causing the issue. Then the issue, the problem why it aggravates is that there is blame game. It's only blame game. Central blames the Delhi government blames the neighboring states. So that there it goes. But the issue as such is not properly addressed. So that's an issue, and the article is critically looking at why that is arising. So Delhi pollution will not be a question this year, I hope so, because it has been asked earlier. It has been in the news for like 3 or 4 years straight now. So chances are less that UPSC is going to ask a specific question on that, but UPSC can always ask a question on air pollution and pollution in a larger scope too. So air pollution and pollution are two important topics that UPSC can ask any day. In the environment, in society, they can ask it anywhere. As far as this article is concerned, reading the forecast from China's 6th plenum, I haven't gone into detail because it's too much international relations for UPSC exam. It's beyond the scope of UPSC exam. This is what I'm constantly telling you about. When you are studying for this exam, always remember what is your purpose. You're just studying for this exam. There are topics which are related to your studies, international relations, like ഒത്തിരി article ഉണ്ട്, but there is no point in you are going after every such topic. So one such topic, we are not expected to be China experts. So I would rather confine myself to what is the strategy of India, what is implications of India as far as this Chinese, the evolution of Chinese system and the rise of Xi Jinping, right? So please look into that. More private sector primer than healthcare pathway. This article is about a strategy report adopted by Niti Aayog, and again it's a critical take on that article, that document. But specifically speaking, are we expected to look into that much detail? No, we are not. But the issue here, what is that the high cost, high out of pocket expenditure. Hold on to that. High out of pocket expenditure in health sector. So that is an issue, that's a troubling issue as far as India's health sector is concerned, and is preventing people from accessing proper channels of health and medical care, but rather goes to quacks and every people and semi and what natural medication, etc. So that is something to be fixed, and the article basically talks is that government cannot incentivize private sector to take it up, but it's government's responsibility to provide universal health care to the maximum extent possible. So that's the crux of this article. The path of writing historical wrongs, again a parochial article, so I would suggest you can read that, but not from my perspective. It has a very limited perspective, right? Maybe you can know about the Irula community, where they are in the context of J beam coming out. This can be looked at. A couple of new things, but more than that, I don't think it's really very specific to Tamil Nadu. So let's keep it there. So wild fault line within global climate risk index. What is global climate risk index need to be understood, but the larger agenda is on what is the risk of climate change especially as far as developing world is concerned, but also look at some of the details of climate risk index, which we don't have to read. See the issues with climate risk index. നമുക്ക് അത്ര ഡീറ്റെയിലേക്ക് പോകേണ്ട കാര്യമില്ല. Delays in action and response, yeah, we can read that. That much is required, right? And what is climate risk index is important from a prelims perspective. It's something that we study every year, and especially given the fact that it is there in the op-ed directly, we can look into that. I think that's not required. India refutes allegation on weakening Glasgow Pact. Just read that. We have seen that what went down, phase down and phase out, that change, we have seen that. Now again, another fact which we already know, India, US and China are the three largest fossil fuel emitters. Just remember that. So some of the questions that are valid from India's perspective are given. Just go through it. Otherwise, this article per se is not that important. It's just routine reportage. Now all closed doors for military are being opened for women. This can be cited as a gender or women empowerment issue, gender justice issue. So you can use this in GS1, GS2, GS4. Okay, everywhere this is an example which can be, or rather a dimension too, like admission of women into military and paramilitary forces. Please keep that in mind. India to hold first 2+2 with Russia on December 6, right? That needs to be looked at. What is a 2+2 format? Who are participating in a 2+2 format? India has 2+2 with all countries. That much of things could be studied. Again, Kartarpur corridor. Please read what is Kartarpur corridor, where and what of Kartarpur corridor. What is Kartarpur corridor? എന്താണ് Kartarpur corridor significance, and where is it located? India Maldives relationships can be looked at, taking a cue from this. Please do that as we suggested. Like, what are the basic facts? Like, India's relationship with its neighbors are important. Maldives, I don't think a specific question on Maldives would be there, especially given the fact that there's nothing much happening these days. Earlier it used to be very tumultuous, but I don't think a specific question would be there, but rather you should understand the basic things about Maldives and India relationship to that, and how China comes into that picture. All right. Now, what is DIPAM? DIPAM is handling the disinvestment process of India, Department of Investment and Public Asset Management. What is their mandate? Ministry, etc. Need to be looked. This is important in prelims perspective. Applied question and direct question both could be there. SEBI unveils investment charter. What is SEBI? What is investment charter? Both should be looked at. Okay, so I think that's much. It is like NRC, again a small article is large, but I don't think why it is significant for BJP. I don't think that is something to be read. So couple of these things can be read. Assam Accord is mentioned here. What is Assam Accord? What is NRC? That much can be looked into. That will give you overview of today's newspaper. Yeah, so again, I like today, I guess some of the articles of the editorials are not so important, so we can finish this off rather more earlier and move to our next task. Okay, have a good day.